A manifesto is a public declaration of the opinions, policies, and goals of a group. The Rationalist Manifesto lays out the principles and practices of the Rationalist Society. Apriorian rationalists reject the state and all social costs as superfluous. The world is rational and conceptual and knowable by a rational mind. The rational mind is sane and encompasses the world. Rationalists believe not only that humankind has innate knowledge, but also that all of reality is inherently conceptual. Materialism is aberrant and unprovable. Rationalists believe rationality and morality and truth are coherent. Reason leads us to recognize the need for a quantitative index to guide our choices. We cannot be rational as individuals. Only a community with an objective standard or unit of account can be rational. This measure of truth or objective validation is economic and derived from the free market. The biblical concept of dominion is considered by some to mean mankind has authority over the world. Apriorian rationalists believe this interpretation is in error. Humans are not restricted to dominion over matter or the physical world. Our authority extends to reality itself. We create reality from reason and from understanding based on rational deduction or a priori thought. Reality is conceptual. The confusion that may emanate from this position is because we do not have dominion over others of our kind, nor over reason itself. Rationality must conform to its own internal form. We cannot deduce contradiction. The opposite or even incompatible cannot be derived from the premise by rational or deductive means. The world is not natural, it is rational. We cannot substitute egoism for reason. Reason must always prevail. We can make our own choices, but we cannot make choices inconsistent with reason and logic without negative consequences. Rationality is defined by the laws of reason and logic as laid down by God, not nature. Nature is insufficient as an explanation for its origins. The object is not a sufficient subject. The effect is an insufficient cause. Reality is conceptual, but our concepts must be rational. Reason cannot be composed of concepts that contradict each other. Truth permits, but only one option. There is only one way to think coherently. One choice makes other choices necessary and eliminates still others. There is only one way our values will come together without contradiction. This is ultimately defined and established by our values. It is within community that rationality and reality exist. It is within the context of community that choices exist. It is within the free market that values are defined. The freedom to choose must be confined to making the best or most rational choice within a free market setting. Rationalists believe a free market is a sovereign group of persons exercising full authority over local resources. A free market is composed of sovereign citizens who control the conditions of citizenship. Rationalists believe political power resides or ought to reside with the citizens of the local community. A community is a free market, and a free market is a community of sovereign citizens. A community must cooperate to be rational because rationality is required if there is to be an economy. Rationalists believe there is a way to live and do business that is more equitable and just than the present system. Apriorian rationalists believe we need to cooperate to acquire rationality. To achieve cooperation, we need to have equality and end parasitism. A sovereign citizen is a person with unfettered rights to what he or she produces. Exchanges ought not to be confused with financial markets. The financial market is not rational, nor democratic, nor ecumenical. They will never build the church. Financial markets are dependent on the state for their existence. The financial markets operate on liabilities. An ecumenical market, or exchange, created to build the church, is free of debt and social costs. Exchanges comprise a pool of local assets owned by the local church and dedicated to the building of the church. Exchanges do not require oversight and are inherently incompatible with the regulatory authority of the state. Regulations always express favoritism. One group will always end up paying costs created by others in a regulatory environment. Regulations always create costs that do not reflect the value of the benefit acquired. The free enterprise system requires regulations and the state. Free enterprise is not congruent with ecumenicism nor with sanctification. Regulations generate conflicts over property rights. The free enterprise system is the economic equivalent of a survival of the fittest schema. Capitalism is an evolutionary doctrine in which only the fit survives. Financial markets serve to impose the burden of the costs of the market onto the poor. The golden rule is a first-order principle. To do unto others as you would have them do unto you is inherently rational. Rationality demands we each pay our own costs. The golden rule rejects social costs and interventions by the state. Right and wrong is defined by the coherency of our concepts. We cannot unilaterally impose our values on others. The point at which our ideas cohere is where truth is found. The golden rule precludes violence and oppression, but that ultimately includes law and regulations. Rationalists believe the planet provides an objective guide to reason. Rationality is defined by the degree at which we as a people do that which generates prosperity and, inversely, reduces social costs. The elimination of social costs refers to the degree to which we exercise responsibility not only over the planet, but reality itself. As social costs decline, prosperity increases. Social costs are not consistent with a rational mind, a coherent reality, nor ecumenicalism or truth. Right and wrong are defined by the impact actions have on the local community and on the planet in a more general sense. Secular morality rests on social mores and legal statements with no conceptual coherence. Rationality requires freedom of choice and the absence of authoritarianism to achieve the most rational outcome. No one can define what is right for others, or even what is right in every context. Our individual actions and context define right from wrong. Regulated markets cannot provide mankind with a conceptually congruent society. Right actions are aligned with the operations of a community. Wrong actions lead to a decline in value and an increase in conflict. Wrong actions pit one part of the community against the other. This is the source of all social costs. Exchanges create cooperative markets that eradicate all social costs. When social costs are eliminated, perfection is all that is left.